will tell stories, woven in intricate designs where I'll visit a country and be mesmerized by the tapestry of cultures. And every time in every country, I'd see vibrance in every interaction, traction in every collaboration, safeguarded by economic, social, and cultural organizations where each country, every citizen is worth a dignified life, a union, a family, affirming dignity, freedom, equality, and justice. Our justice is not hindered by our borders. In fact, why are there borders? I'm picturing countries that are pure safe spaces. They're even leaving their doors open. It's how we close the thoughts of fear of being mistreated in a foreign land. Have I just said foreign land? If I am a migrant, then I am supposed to call this place a home, my land. I envision a world where Utu and Ubuntu is our heartbeat. I want to be in Rome, like the Romans, and even run an empire. The world is a vision, it's a beacon of light. I have a vision that I'll also pass to my generation, my future son or daughter. I'll tell them, move, go forward, because if you stay in one place for too long, your feet will grow thick roots until you can move. You can't move any longer, so start on your boots and move. Do not wait documents, custom lines, and airports to define you. Do not be partial to one color, because your own blood is a mix of so many flavors that you'll only be betraying some part of yourself. And don't you ever complain of homesickness unless you're out in space, because planet Earth is your home. The only nation you need to be patriotic to. Make friends with the stars so you are never lonely, and set foot in borders you are told you are foreign. There was a time there were no borders. And in forms where you are asked to say your race, please put humanity, because we are all humans. Let us think tomorrow and act today. Thank you.
No, surely, Carlton deserves a better round of applause. Let's do that again. Such powerful words, just reminding us to go back to, maybe in his South African terms that he wants to start saying, which should be African, to go back to Ubuntu. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I've got some goodies. So I need you to pay attention to each and every speaker that comes on stage. At some point, I will be asking some questions, and you will have something sweet to take with you, which I'll come back with when I come back on stage. But just to now kick off the formal part of our event today, we had a really enlightening morning. For those of you who are here and listened to our debaters, who had very well-informed and passionate calls from all of them as they, supported or opposed the different motions. So our theme today, as you have heard from our spoken word, Carlton, says our theme is Think of Tomorrow, Act Today, Unlocking the Power of Migration as one of the solutions to global challenges. My name is Terry-Ann Chebet. I will be facilitating the smooth flow of our event this morning. And just some context into why we're here today. Migration contributes to development in countries of origin, countries of transit, and destination as well. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development calls on all countries to facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people. Kenya, as we all know, is a source, transit, and destination country with over 1 million international migrants and over 500,000 registered as refugees. Kenya clearly recognizes the vital role of migration and has included human mobility and its complex dynamics in its 5-year medium-term plan of 2023 to 2027. We have seen over the last couple of months our President, His Excellency, President William Ruto, speak of free movement of labor and capital, asking member countries across the Horn of Africa and the greater East African region to break down the barriers, of course, in the spirit of the continental free trade area. So today, as we commemorate International Migrants Day 2023, I'd like you to also be part of the online conversation. The hashtag we're using is IMD 2023. IOM Kenya and, of course, its partners have brought us here today to further celebrate the success of migration, to dispel misconceptions, and, of course, showcase the invaluable contribution made by more than 1 million migrants in Kenya. So I would like to now welcome our very first speaker this morning for our welcoming remarks. Let us put our hands together for Professor Julius Ogengo, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs at the University of Nairobi. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon. Hello there. That side and that side. Good to see all of you, good people. I begin by acknowledging everybody who I expected, because I have not received any apologies. So the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Migration and Citizen Services, Ambassador Julius Bitok, the UN Resident Coordinator, Stephen Jackson, the CEO of Kenya Airways, Alan Kelabuha, the Chairman, Skyward Express, Captain Mohammed Abdi, the Rana Jaber, IOM Regional Director for East and Horn of Africa, Professor Laban Nairo, the Vice Chancellor of Daystar University, His Excellency Mr. Khalid Al Salman, Saudi Arabian Ambassador to Kenya, Dimache Sharon, the Chief of Mission, IOM Kenya, all senior government officials, private sector, academia, civil society organizations, and UN agencies. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you to the university on this important occasion of International Migrants Day 2023 that is celebrated annually. I listened to Terian Chebet say some things. I say welcome. When I say welcome to the University of Nairobi, usually I mean everybody is welcome home. So this is home for everybody. This year's theme, Think of Tomorrow, Act Today, unlocking the power of migration as one of the solutions to global challenges. We pride ourselves as a university to be a place for anyone and everyone. And it's no surprise to note that we have student migrants among us. Through partnerships with donor organizations, these students have received support and gone through their education successfully. One such organization is the Windle Trust, which supports students from the Kakuma refugee camp. International Migrants Day is an opportunity to promote an informed and balanced conversation on migration and to share stories, experiences, aspirations of migrants, advocate for their rights, and encourage the international community to work together to harness the potential of migration. Kenya is a source, transit, and destination country with over 1 million international migrants and over 500,000 registered refugees currently residing in the country. And the University of Nairobi, as such, plays the pivotal role of empowering the migrants and international students by offering them education. Education is like a pen and fresh new canvas for anyone who has it to write their narrative. We always urge all our alumni to carry the University of Nairobi flag of excellence wherever they go. This translates development in their home countries. The UN General Assembly proclaimed 18 December of each year to be celebrated globally as the International Migrants Day in December 2000. This came in the backdrop of the growing recognition worldwide migration as a key driver of economic growth. Kenya is a source transit destination with those over 1 million. In 2018, the University of Nairobi, through partnership with government, established the Kenya Institute of Migration Studies. And this institute is a regional center of excellence for migration studies in the Horn of Africa. It's established under Section 421 of the Kenya Citizenship and Migration Act 2011 and is hosted at the Population Studies and Research Institute of the University of Nairobi, and is collaborating with Maastricht University Graduate School of Governance. KIMS combines academic excellence with the valuable practical skills conducted in the state-of-art forensic laboratory and planned academic tours to selected IGAD member states and institutions performing migration functions. KIMS is an accredited provider of continuous professional development and is currently offering a 1-year, that is a 3-semester postgraduate diploma in migration studies. The university will continue to engage in collaborations, research, and contribute new knowledge on the discourse of migration and development. We have a Department of Diplomacy and International Studies and the Institute for Development Studies that contribute actively on a day-to-day basis to the research agenda on this matter. Ladies and gentlemen, you then, with those remarks, begin to understand why I said, even in this context, the University of Nairobi is home for all of you. With those remarks, let us listen to this final round of debate, and may the best team win. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Let's appreciate Prof. Ayiro one more time. Thank you for welcoming us to the great University of Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready for the debate round finale, and the motion or the topic for this debate will be migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. The two universities that will be in this debate round finale, and let's put our hands together for them. As I say this, the Technical University of Kenya, please make your way to the stage. Congratulations for making it to this final round. And the Catholic University of East Africa. Let's give them a warm round of applause as they make their way on stage. And our judges for this debate will be Ambassador Honorable Julius Bitok, who's a PS Immigration and Citizen Service. We also have Dr. Gabriel Lubale from the University of Nairobi, Mr. Billy Omondi from the Great Debaters Circle, Mr. Joshua Nguku from Safaricom, and Elizabeth Attack from Skyward. Those are our judges for our first debate. All right, we'd like to request our judges to please come to the front row. All right, I'm going to request one representative from each of the universities to come and flip the coin to decide who will be the proposer and who will be the opposer. All right, and we have the proposers, who will be the Technical University of Kenya, and the opposers, the Catholic University of East Africa. Remember, the topic is migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. One of the members of the team has asked to quickly step out for a minute or so, and as she does that, I will ask 1 or 2 questions as we wait for her to come back. I promised. So, for our first question this morning, from our first speaker, and because we have all been students and we're in a university, this is a question that will come with 2 dashes. Fill in the blank spaces. First person with their hands up gets a Snicker bar. Dash in every dash, people are migrants in Kenya. Come for your chocolate. This one is, what was the dressing theme for today? I want to just see what part of you is African today. And don't say your nationality or your... Okay, you get a small one, because you got it right, but you didn't dress right. All right, is she here? Not yet. What is the official date of International Migrants Day? 18th of December, come for your chocolate. Before the debate, yes. Okay. All right, we'll save some of the chocolate for the next round as we wait for one of our debaters to come back. She had a bit of a problem that she needs to sort out. I would like to welcome one of our keynote speakers this morning to just briefly give us his remarks, and that's Mr. Alan Kilavuka, the CEO, Kenya Airways Group Managing Director and CEO. As he walks up, I'll just tell you a little bit about him. Mr. Kilavuka is a Group Managing Director at Kenya Airways. He's also a non-executive board member of 2 Kenya Airways subsidiaries. That's, of course, original operator Jambo Jet and Tanzanian operator Precision Air. You know, you've come too fast. I want to brag about you a little bit. So Alan took over his role right at the beginning of a very difficult time for Kenya Airways and the aviation industry in general, and has managed to navigate the airline through turbulent times and kept the planes flying through a string of measures and initiatives. He is a former managing director of Jambo Jet Limited, of course, which is a fully owned subsidiary of Kenya Airways. He has over 23 years experience in leadership and management. He started his career at Deloitte East Africa, where he specialized in audit, accounting, outsourcing, and custodianship, and later joined General Electric, where he worked both in Kenya and South Africa. Let's give him a warm round of applause as he makes his way on stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. She forgot to say that I'm also an alumnus of University of Nairobi. But that is more than 30 years ago, so maybe that's why she forgot to say that. And during our time, we used to say there is universities and then there is the university, which is the University of Nairobi. So I'm glad to be back home. And I also apologize for interrupting this wonderful debate Unfortunately, I really do have to leave. I had another engagement, which is actually supposed to start at 12. So if I do this in less than 5 minutes, then I can rush off. So first off is to say again, good morning or good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished guests here. I see the ambassador, the DVC, and the very distinguished guests from ION, regional directors, and all the rest of you. I didn't see the PS, although I had him mentioned a few times, but I know there's the Director of Immigration here as well. So, and all the other people who are here, good afternoon. I want to make a few remarks here regarding the International Migrations Day, because we in Kenya Airways are very pertinent to this day and the role that the international community plays among refugees. Because this is a day that we celebrate the contribution of immigrants, and we are indeed very grateful for the lifeline that immigrants continue to provide families and communities back home through remittances. Today is also a day to discuss and bring to light some of the challenges that immigrants face. One of these key challenges is safety and also the legality of transporting them. And as you know, we play a key role there. The process of transporting immigrants always starts with a search for a better opportunity, safety, and dignity. However, due to the lack of safe pathways, immigrants are sometimes forced to take dangerous journeys in search of better life. Transportation is indeed a critical factor influencing immigration patterns. In Kenya Airways, our mission is to spur Africa's prosperity by connecting its people, cultures, and markets. This means that we have a key role to play in connecting people to various opportunities through transporting them. It is the reason that we continue to commit to ensuring that there is a safe ecosystem that supports the safety of immigrants' transport. I am pleased to inform you that Kenya Airways has a zero tolerance to human trafficking and smuggling of immigrants. This year, Kenya Airways partnered with Better Immigration Management, that is BMM, as a new partner in a workshop that we held on the 18th of October 2023, and jointly implemented by CIVOP under the French Ministry of Interior and also the GIZ, and also the International Organization for Immigration, IOM, the United Nations on Drugs and Crime. BIMM maximizes the impact through expertise and integration and also collaborative solutions to deal with immigration. The objective was to confirm the annual work plan of 2024 and to review national partners' priorities for the remaining program period and celebrate partnerships and achievements for combating human trafficking and smuggling of immigrants. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya Airways has enforced a policy on trafficking of persons, which took effect from the 1st of January 2023. We are committed to acting ethically within our business dealings and ensuring that human trafficking and smuggling of immigrants is not tolerated in our organizations or supply chains, or either through our partners, contractors, suppliers, so that they uphold the similar standards. We also commit to helping to reduce the probability that our property will be used as a transit point for traffickers and their victims. On the 6th of March 2023, Kenya Airways, in collaboration with the United Nations of Drugs and Crime, officially launched its Trafficking in Persons TIP policy to outline its stand and action plan against human trafficking. I think we are one of the few airlines in the world which have signed on to this policy. Kenya Airways has established, and I think the only company in Kenya so far. So I think you should clap for us. Kenya Airways has established mechanism through collaboration with our key stakeholders at the airport to promote human and orderly migration for all and to ensure a smooth passage. And we are proud to be part of this cause through our partnership with IOM. As we mark International Immigrants Day, we would like to confirm that Kenya Airways is committed to comply with all the applicable laws and regulations regarding the prevention of trafficking in persons by air, smuggling of immigrants, including the Counter-Trafficking in Persons Act, and collaborates with law enforcement authorities to address instances of human trafficking at the airport. In conclusion, the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, through these goals, all members of the United Nations have pledged that no one will be left behind. So ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to commit that no immigrant will be left behind. Immigration with dignity is the manifestation of human mobility. I want to reaffirm that we in Kenya Airways also want to think for tomorrow, but we want to act today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. And all the best for the debaters. Is it this way?
Let's appreciate Mr. Kilavuka for making time to be with us this morning. We don't take your presence for granted. All right, we're ready to have our debaters now. Okay. So I would like to invite our first debater from the Technical University of Kenya to tell us why she is proposing that migration is the most powerful driver of economic empowerment of youth in Kenya.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sedeshaz Noela Muziranenje. I am from the Technical University of Kenya, and today we assert the motion that migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. I'd like to start by informing you that last year alone, climate change contributed to over 30 million displacements in the world. That is according to IOM. Migration and climate change, indeed there is a nexus. Climate change is a leading contributor to involuntary migration that takes place. And we see that in the areas of destination, migrants are able to come up with adaptive practices and sustainable solutions, as well as creating resilience measures in order to tackle the effects of climate change. We see that a publishing by the Multidisciplinary Publishing Institute informs us that the migrant farmers in Bangladesh who have faced a problem of the rising levels of the sea, of the rising levels of the ice in the sea, at the sea, are able to come up with floating gardens, the floating gardens technology that has been able to assist them to continuously do their agriculture, to continuously gain income, but again being climate aware. Secondly, we have the Inuit communities in the Arctic. They have been able to integrate the hybrid and the modern technologies, that is from the traditional hunting to navigate also the challenging ice conditions from where they're coming from. Moreover, we've seen, as we speak right now, we have the COP28 that's happening in the UAE. That is part of an extension of the United Nations Framework on Conventions for Climate Change. And we've seen that migration indeed there have been events, there have been side events, boardroom discussions to be able to understand and to be able to narrow down the scope into which migration really, migration can be a contributor to tackling the issues of climate change. As we all know, necessity is the mother of all inventions. Therefore, the need to address climate change has been able to, recently, there have been floods in Kenya. We were anticipating El Nino, and we saw that in Mombasa County, people were displaced due to floods. That means in their new areas of destination, definitely moving is not fun, especially when it's involuntary. Therefore, you'll have to come up with measures to at least make your new area of settlement adaptive, or rather prevented from the effects that made you move in the first place. Therefore, as we think of tomorrow and act today, we see that indeed migration, as people are moving, people who move, let's say, to Rwanda, we have climate aware. We are climate aware. We have practices. We ban the use of single-use plastic. We've been able to adopt practices that people can also migrate them through knowledge transfer and skill transfer to their countries of origin. So with this, the Technical University really sees that migration is a key player and is the #1 pathway to innovative and creative solutions to climate change. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. In error, I did give the wrong motion. The motion is migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. And now we'd like to welcome our first opposer of the motion from the Catholic University of East Africa. Let's give them a round of applause.
With due respect, the honorable judges and distinguished guests and esteemed ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mungai Karaoke, here to ardently oppose the motion that states migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solution to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by saying that it is the high time that we begin dealing with challenges from their roots. People remaining where they are has never been the challenge. The challenge has always been industrialization. According to the UN, climate change is the shift of climate from within a particular period of time. And what they were saying is climate change has been observed to be happening since the 1800s, the era of industrialization. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is to have better ways of dealing with climate change. If we say that migration is a better way of dealing with climate change, I put it to you that it is one of the worst. In fact, according to the UN and the IOM, they say that it contributes to deforestation, it contributes to overpopulation, it distributes to poor sanitation, emission of methane gas, which is one of the contributors to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that what we need to do is to invest heavily on better ways of doing things, in research, because we cannot do away with industrialization, but we can have better ways of using plastic, for example. We can have better ways of using greener energy. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is to invest in research. Honorable judges, as you retire, I want you to reconcile this for me, because I fail to understand how are people moving from one point to another helping in curbing climate change? How is that innovative? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's now welcome our second proposer from the Technical University.
movement of people from one place to another for benchmarking to create innovative and creative solutions to climate change. I'm here to support the motion by strongly urging you guys to reconsider seeing migration as an innovative and creative solution to climate change. Firstly, according to the SDG goal number 7, by 2030, we should ensure universal access to affordable and reliable modern energy services. We can get this through benchmarking because climate change affects all of us, and we need holistic approaches through benchmarking, which we can be able to mitigate the effects of climate change. Actually, I would like to point out what my fellow colleague said about migration being the problem. Actually, migration is not the problem. The problem is the policies surrounding the settlement of the people who are migrating. Another point which is contradicting is about the investment. For investments, we should handle this holistically. Holistically means we should include all the stakeholders, including the rich countries being the ones who are emitting greenhouse gases the most. They should be involved, and that can only be done by us going to them and them coming to us on the ground, because sometimes seeing is believing, and we really need to see the effects, and we really need to start the solutions from the root causes, as he said. Another point to emphasize on migration as a pathway, as the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions. Case on point, the case of Jesse Moore, who is the CEO of Mkopa Solar Kenya. He's originally from Canada. He has studied in the UK and has come back to Kenya in 2010 to create a sustainable and resilient move using the solar. It is innovative and displaces the use of fossil fuel, which most of the time, fossil fuels are the ones which contribute to emission of greenhouse gases, causing global warming, and even causing other climatic change conditions. Mkopa Solar has seen the growth of the company, has employed people, and has empowered homes and small businesses through connection of energy and the use of clean and renewable energy, which we are all championing for in this forum and in other forums. I would wish to reiterate on our stand. Migration still remains the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. I rest my case.
I see the Technical University brought with it quite a vibrant cheering squad. We see you. Let's welcome the second opposer from the Catholic University of East Africa.
Esteemed judges, guests present, and protocol observed, my name is Gabriel. I shall be the second opposer as against the motion. Migration is the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. First and foremost, I'd like to pose a specific question, a semantic question to the proposers. Migration is the number one. Number one implies a higher standard of proof. You must show me that beyond all doubt, if we try everything else, migration will be the number one that will be successful. If we try everything else, let's try removing the policy framework. Let's try removing the policy framework. There are no longer any more policies. ESG doesn't matter no more. It doesn't matter anymore. COP28 doesn't matter anymore because they're basically going to discuss policies. They're going to discuss policies. Policies include the structure, the guidelines, and the mechanisms that address climate change. Without that, we cannot move. Policies are key, and more so key as against migration. Because I can't tell you, because it's flooding, move away. Move away. It will solve your problem. Your problem hasn't gone away. It's still present, unsolved. The best the best thing to do rather is to come up with policies that further structures and guidelines and mechanisms that help us to mitigate and look at the effect beforehand and after. How do we mitigate this thing? If I move, have I changed anything? No, apart from scenery. I was seeing water, now I'm not seeing water. It hasn't changed anything. Yes, thank you. I rest my case.
All right, I would like to now welcome the third opposer who is for the motion that migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. Our third proposer from the Technical University.
Thank you. My name is Norbert Edul, and I'm here to assert that migration is the #1 pathway, not #1 pathway to innovative and creative climate solutions for climate change. You have mentioned about COP just being any other event, right? And the Conference of Parties by itself is an avenue where policies are formed. Yet he says policies, we are just, we are done making policies. Our policies are over. Really? Because policies are actionable ideas that are used to implement effective change to the society. Now, mine is to keep it short and sweet, right? Now, I'll give you two examples. When climate change comes to your mind, what do you think of? #1, Tesla, right? Tesla. You know Tesla? Based in the US. Who is the founding father of Tesla? Answers? Answers? Elon Musk, right? He's the driver of Tesla, right? What is Tesla advocating for? Move away from internal combustion engines to EVs, right? What is the nationality of Elon Musk? South African, born of a Canadian mother, now actualizing his ideas in the US and globally. That is proof of migration. Let's bring it locally, right? A lot of us who use public transport in Nairobi, you have seen an influx of electric buses, right? Through Embasava, KBS, and all those electric vehicles, right? Which company do they come from? Which company in Kenya manufactures those? It's called Basigo, right? Basigo. Who's the founder? The founder of Basigo is called Jit Bhattacharya. He's an Indian national, went and studied in Europe, and now has come to invest in Kenya. Migration, right? Migration. Therefore, this is an avenue. Migration is the #1 pathway through research and development, bilateral and multilateral agreements. We have technological advancements. We have even access to financial aid of LDCs from the developed countries. We also have the role of education, where we all want, some of us want to go to Europe and come back, acquire that high quality of education and come back, implement that home, right? So we do not oppose to you that there are numerous pathways. There are numerous pathways. Even localization of these ideas is part of, innovation and creativity back at home. But where do these ideas come from? They come from migration. You have to move. Therefore, there are numerous pathways for this, but then migration stands out as the most important pathway for this. Therefore, I urge you guys, you can just cross over to this side and we just finish this debate. Thank you so much. I rest my case.
And now the third and the final debater in this debate round finale is from Queer. Let's give her a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yvonne McKenna, opposing the motion that migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. I think what we really need to understand that we as opposition, what we are stating and what we are reiterating is the fact that migration is not the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions. And this is why. I like how they have given examples of Tesla, they've given us examples of electric buses, but don't you think that only speaks into the matter of technological innovation, which in and of itself contributes and is the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. It is quite fascinating how you want to misunderstand whatever it is that my second opposer was saying when he referred to COP28. What he was basically saying is that without the policy frameworks which are supposed to be made in the COP28, then migration in and of itself, what we as opposition are saying is it is a facilitating tool. Yes, it enables people to meet. Yes, it enables people to come up with brilliant ideas, but without the policy frameworks which are in there, there's nothing we are going to achieve. And that is why the burden of proof in their end or on their end is very high, because you need to prove that migration in and of itself is the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions. Whether they have achieved that or not, I am not the judge. Our brilliant and awesome judges will be the judge of that, yeah? So, another key thing that is a key pillar for innovative and creative solutions to climate change is community and grassroots initiatives, which is very interesting because it is something that is not highlighted, yet it has very significant impact. I'm going to rely heavily on the Global Citizen Initiative website to prove to you how community and grassroots initiatives have been seen to have such a positive impact on the innovative and creative solutions to climate change. I shall start with Guatemala. Guatemala, after they were faced with legal and illegal deforestation that threatened the collapse of their ecosystems, what did their government do? Their government turned to their communities, and they worked with a specific initiative called Alliance for International Reforestation, and which they enabled 130 communities to improve their farming methods, protecting against erosion and mudslides, building efficient stoves. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about innovative and creative solutions to climate change. And all in all, such kind of initiatives actually facilitate the awareness that is needed in our communities, as well as training, so as to ensure that our people in the grassroots, because charity begins at home, so it ensures that people actually implement ideas that positively impact our climate. Closer home, we have something called Mikoko Pamoja. What is very interesting about Mikoko Pamoja, it is the community group that has created the first mangrove carbon credit market in the world. That to mean that people, organizations, they pay for credits which are then used for mangrove restoration. And so far we have 117 hectares that have been protected of mangroves. And mangroves are some of the most powerful natural mitigators to climate change. Not only do they absorb higher amounts of carbon than any other regular forest, but also they clean local water and and protect against floods. So what are we saying? We as the opposition are saying that, in short, we do agree, and it is a matter of fact that yes, migration actually do help in creating innovative solutions to climate change. But the fact remains, it is not the most powerful drive. It is not the number one pathway for innovative and creative solutions. What is technological innovation being backed up by policy frameworks? That marks the end. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together one more time for our debaters who have done an incredible job. We will give our judges a bit of time to deliberate on who the winner is. And in the meantime, I want to take out your phone and let's all go to Twitter. X. Okay, Twitter for the old people, formerly known as X. X, formerly known as Twitter. It's quite interesting you say that, because on my phone I keep looking for the old logo, the bird, and I have to type in Twitter to find the X. All right, let's go to IOM Kenya. If you're not already following, make sure you do. Have you followed? Okay. And after you follow, I want you to open your camera. On selfie mode. Okay? Take a selfie with the person next to you or the group. I'll take one from here. Are we that bad at taking instructions? All right. So actually, the reason I asked us all to go to Twitter is because part of the voting will also happen on Twitter, on the IOM Kenya handle. So once the judges, as the judges continue to deliberate, our IOM Kenya handle will be sharing the 2 universities, which we will then place our vote, and that will be as a poll. I'm just waiting to see whether that is up yet. It's up. All right, so the tweet, I hope you can see it, has now been pinned to the top of the IOM handle, and it is the first one. And it says, IOM Kenya International Migrants Day 2023 debate polling, round 3 final, TUK versus Queer. So you just vote on the one that you believe takes the day today. All right, so as we wait for that, we will carry on with our program. And I would like to welcome our host for today, Ms. Dimanche Sharon. She is the Chief of Mission and will be telling us a little bit more about why we're here today, as she and of course, IOM Kenya is the reason we're here today. Let's give her a warm round of applause as she makes her way to join us on stage.
Hamjambo. Hamjambo. Good afternoon. How are you? I'm so much excited to be here today. It reminds me of my days several years ago when I was a student like you. And then when I had our debaters here today, I was so excited and I was thinking through, oh my goodness, it's so fascinating, so nice to be in school. Yeah, so really, thank you so much. It was so amazing to hear from you. And today, for me, I'm very privileged, honored to be here at Nairobi, University of Nairobi, the university, from what I've heard. But we have so many universities here in our midst, I think 8 of them. So really, all the universities are the universities. Today, we are celebrating the International Migrants Day. As you heard from the speakers, we are intended to really remember migrants, to advocate for their rights, to acknowledge what their role is in terms of development. And if I may start by a question, how many of us are born in Nairobi? In this room? born in Nairobi. You're born, raised, you have your great-grandparents in Nairobi. Great-grandparents in Nairobi, and you're born in Nairobi. How many? Somehow I can't see because of the light, so I'll have to move behind. Yeah, no one? We have one person. Yeah, so we have three people. Great-grandparents, parents, born in Nairobi, so basically we call Nairobi home. Yeah? And how many of us probably were born outside Kenya? We have 2 people here. Outside Kenya, yes? Yeah, so we have like some people who are born outside Kenya. And among those who are born outside Kenya, how many are Kenyans? How many are Kenyans that were born outside Kenya? We have 1. 2. Okay. Excellent. And then we have those that are living here in Kenya but who are not Kenyans. Yeah, we have a fairly big number. So what does that tell us about migration? At least in one way or the other, all of us, apart from maybe 2 people who say they were born great-grandparents in Nairobi and you're here in Nairobi. So we are all migrants, aren't we? Yeah? We are all migrants in one way or the other. And it means you have done quite a lot. I'm sure you did. Maybe you are here in school, you're paying school fees, you're paying your tuition, maybe you're working. We have international migrants. I have my UNRC here, Dr. Stephen Jackson, who is here. He's a migrant working in Kenya. A labor migrant for that matter. And I'm sure there are so many others, even government officials, that are coming in from different counties who are Kenyans and working for the government of Kenya. It means you are migrants and you're paying taxes. Taxes is now a big issue in Kenya. You're contributing to the economy of Kenya. We have Stephen here he's Irish. He's working in Kenya and I'm sure he's spending quite a lot of money going to supermarkets, to markets or wherever, even for transport, flying in. And that is benefiting Kenyan economy, right? And probably even sharing some of your expertise. And we have some Kenyans who have lived outside this country. You have gone and worked abroad, maybe your parents. One of our friends here who said she was born outside Kenya. Maybe your parents have lived outside Kenya, but they're still Kenyans and coming in back here, contributing to the economy of Kenya. You're working here, maybe half of your salary or even 70% of the salary is spent here in Kenya that is contributing to the economy of this country. And equally, when you're out there, you're sending remittances back here in Kenya. And coming back to our theme today, where we have to think, when we are thinking of actually tomorrow, we have to act today. And how do we act today? There are several, actually you raised very good points. All the debaters, they are very interesting ideas where actually we can pick from, that we need to take action now if we want to have a better tomorrow, if we really want to leverage migration for development. And migrants are contributing quite a lot. I'll get back in terms of statistics, just for the sake of all of us to really get to understand about migration. We acknowledge that we are all migrants in one way or the other. And if you look at the global statistics, 218 million people are migrants globally. And over, I think, 21 million are African migrants. And if you get back to remittances, I don't want to get back maybe the global remittances, but specifically to Kenya, I think we have been able to get about over 40 billion US dollar in terms of remittances coming back to Kenya. And that is contributing significantly. I think it's the #1 forex earner to this Kenyan country. It means if we really want to leverage migration for development, we need to address some of those challenges that we face every day. People move for so many reasons. You heard people talking about floods. People have been displaced, maybe conflict. Maybe you're looking for greener pastures. You want to go and work like my friend here who is a labor migrant. Maybe you're going abroad to study. But in one way or the other, you are moving. And if you're moving, you need to be recognized. Your rights need to be taken care of. We need to have proper policies in place so that you can, if you decide to move, how are you moving? Are you moving in a safe way? Are you moving in a regular way? If you choose to stay, are you very safe where you're staying? And that's why we need to celebrate the International Migrants Day to acknowledge the contributions of migrants. We have been doing this actually outside universities, out there, but we did acknowledge the role of students, of youth. And that's why we decided to bring the International Migrants Day to universities. And I want to thank the University of Nairobi for hosting us today. And I would like to appreciate all the universities that joined today to celebrate this day. Because when we discuss, when we have policies, I mean, our friends talked of policies, which are very, very, that's very important. We need to have very good policies. We need to engage the communities. We need to have migrants to bring in their ideas from abroad, come and share with us. We are living in a global village. And if we want to develop, we need all of us to have some of these ideas that should be brought together, and we can leverage on those. But the only way we need to change that, I think some of us are too old, that sometimes we get locked into our traditional ways of doing things. But we have young people that have those young minds, very brilliant ideas, risk takers, fast thinkers. And that's why we are coming here today to have your input and all this that you have shared from the first group, subsequently to the finalists. All those are excellent ideas, and you're all winners. So thank you so much for your excellent contributions and all those inputs. So we will continue to partner with you, the youth. I think we can't do without our youth today. Maybe Stephen will briefly mention on that, what we do within the UN to engage youth in more of this conversation in terms of how we can actually contribute to development and have the youth voices be heard. And this is why we have all of you here today. But beyond the youth, I think I also acknowledge the partnership that we get from the private sector. You had this morning Kenya Airways colleagues that were here, and we have a Skywards team. We have Safaricom in our midst, and they have contributed in one way or the other to this whole event today. So thank you so much, colleagues. But to continue this conversation on migration, I think at the end of the day, once we get the finalists, I said you're all winners. And starting with being all of you winners, we are partnering with the Zuckerberg, I think it's the HUG, and they're having a program on AI. And you know AI is the thing. You guys know it much than me because I'm analog. And so we'll be having, with AI, we need to get some knowledge to get to understand how to utilize that, how we can actually fast grow. There's a course that is going to be open up to all of you, all the participants, and perhaps extend that to all students who are here today in this room without paying a penny. So you need to register by December, so it means we are all winners, and we are going to get some experiences. Maybe once we complete our course, we have some certificates that will help us to explore other opportunities. But beyond that, I think our finalists, since we want to understand more about migration, but to also learn from you, I said young minds are very, very critical. We are going to have winners from the university, 3 of you, get about 9 months internship in IOM so that you can learn more about migration. And probably contribute to the work that we are doing so that we are able to leverage migration for development. I don't want to take much time, but I really want to thank each and every one of you for coming here today. I appreciate your time. I know we are coming to the end of the year. There's a lot that we are doing. So So setting aside your time, coming here today to talk about migration, to listen to our students, our own children, share with us, to learn from them, that is very commendable. So thanks to each one of you, thanks to our debaters, thanks to all the students, thanks to the management from all the universities here present, and to the University of Nairobi. Thank you. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dimash. Let's give her another warm round of applause. She is also a migrant herself in many, many ways. She has worked across many countries within the IOM and other organizations. Before this, she was working in Dhaka, Bangladesh, where she was responsible for the development portfolio in the mission. Prior to Bangladesh, she was in Myanmar, also with IOM, where she headed the Migrant Protection Unit. She has also worked in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, as a Migration Management Program Coordinator. And she has also, she's largely credited for initiating and coordinating the AU Horn of Africa Initiative on Human Trafficking and Smuggling of Migrants, which led to the adoption of the Khartoum Declaration in October 2014. Let's give her another warm round of applause. All right, our debaters, you may take your seats for now as we wait for the judges' deliberations, as well as what's happening on X, which I would like to check. So on X, we have Technical University of Kenya at 52%, and Queer at 48%. I think we have another 10 minutes, 5 minutes or so of voting, and then that poll closes, and we will also have our judges give us their final decision. I would like to now move on to our next session, and this session will focus on the role of the private sector in harnessing the power of migration to find solutions to today's most pressing issues. And for this, I would first like to request our representative from Safaricom, Solange Kawera. Solange, are you here? Let's give her a warm round of applause as she gives us a first statement on the role of the private sector in harnessing the power of migration.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's a privilege for me to be here today, as I am myself, like my predecessor said, I am a migrant in Kenya. So I would even say that I'm really a 360 migrant. I will give a little bit of my story. So I started as a refugee. I was a refugee, and then I had to flee. I was privileged to have the chance of having a private sector financing my studies. I have been like you youngs from university. As a migrant, when you are abroad, you choose carefully what you want to study. My dream was to become a doctor in medicine, but once you are a doctor, sometimes depending on the policy, some countries, because you don't know where you will be tomorrow, will not recognize your doctor degree. That's why then I end up being an engineer. With technology, you are able to work worldwide. It's easier at least to get recognized. The policy in the technology field are easier. So I really echo people who were talking about technology before. And then I have been able to study in Germany. I'm German, so I'm a migrant really. And I was given the privilege by Safaricom, which is empowering also the cultural diversity, which most of the students debated about. And I'm now coming as a part of diaspora, coming back to Africa, and I have been living in Kenya for 2 years. Having said that, I believe that private sector can harness really the power of migration. I will tackle it in different aspects and tell you what we as Safaricom, we are doing in different aspects. The first of all is the global talent acquisition, where we can also harness the power of cultural diversity. Here, you have heard also from many who were giving example for Tesla, M-Copper. Most of the time, migrants are really risk takers. So we should also give them the opportunity by hiring them, giving them a podium where they can really bring the innovation, the diversity, the cultural aspect, in order to contribute to the technology and innovation. Also, we are seeing that migrants, if we are talking now from labor migrants, they are bringing innovation, other perspectives, and I will not repeat myself or what everyone has said. These give, in the global world, really the importance of harnessing the power of diversity. We are starting to see, thanks to technology, thanks to the investment we are doing in developing countries, that we can also be able to export our expertise. Safaricom, 1.5 years ago, we have founded Safaricom Ethiopia. In order to fund such company, we had to bring in there also our engineers, especially in the startup, in order to help the ramp-up period and also to skills the local people so that we can bring a strong Safaricom brand also in Ethiopia. And it's been working. We are successful. We have a lot of customers there, and some of our experts are coming back now. So we have to understand the local market, but with this, we are bringing in the international and the global view, which is helping to ramp up easily and to bring our startup to the maturity. Innovation and economic growth. We, as a private sector, especially in the technology area, Safaricom is a purpose-led technology company. This is our mission. We are contributing to upskills and to reskills our people. Before you heard about AI, there are many new technologies coming, and we have some program where we reach out to universities. We have Digital Academy, which we are supporting universities. We are offering also engineer communities so that we make sure our young in the local company, in the local countries, in the region, you are having the right skills. You are not all the time dreaming we need to go abroad. Of course, going abroad in developed countries is also good, but we would like to balance so that we can contribute to limit the brain drain we are getting so that we start having really within the region also the influence. Instead of having the brain drain, we are having the brain gain. We are also tapping into diaspora. You heard that they are contributing with the remittances as the highest forex influx. With our technology, with M-Pesa technology, we are enabling this to come into the countries, and we are continuing to innovate, to have global solutions in order to help this movement also using technologies. And we have our corporate social responsibility to play. I was glad that the climate was debated long enough. Statistics says that if we do nothing, in 2050, most of the forced migrants will come from climate consequences. Everyone knows it is being now tackled, but we as a private sector, we have also to play a role. We are making sure that we are reducing our carbon emission. We have installed in half of our mobile sites solar. This is also to act today, not to wait till tomorrow. It has even a side effect, a ripple effect, that is saving our costs with the energy costs we are seeing escalating. However, the first is to think about technologies which are helping us to bring really the climate change's consequences as down as possible. And we have also, within our corporate social responsibility, we are contributing with several agencies and NGO and also IOM to offer solutions to the less privileged migrants, thinking of our refugees which are in Kakuma and Garissa. We make sure that we give them the right tools where available so that they can have also feel inclusive in the society. We as a Safaricom also, we contribute to make sure those remote areas so that we are avoiding also the internal migration, are having the right connectivities so that everyone is connected with technology. So technology and remote work is starting to play a very big role in the changing environment. COVID has taught us all that now, in the way we are operating, it can change. You can now be a virtual migrant. I'm sure some of you, especially the students who are innovative, the young people, you are also having that you can have some opportunities working abroad while sitting in Kenya. So in order to get benefit of this, we give you connectivities, we make sure there is the digital tools, but this will create with itself also some challenges. That's why the right policy needs to be in place in order to allow that, but this is opening new opportunities which were not there before, where it was not possible to work remotely. To conclude, I believe that the private sector, if we continue to fuel the growth in our region, we can make, especially Kenya, which is really in the right place with the technology more advanced, we can make this region a hub and make sure young talent, you are not all the time thinking to go very far, because the future is here. You can also have opportunities contributing into the economy of this region and making the inequality in the developing world and developed world closer so that we are become equally, and we have then all the brain coming back to Kenya, all the diaspora willing to come back, like I myself an example. Also, we continue to encourage initiative, tapping into our diaspora, tapping into having the right policies so that we offer a fair contribution and the social inclusion for everybody. Safaricom embraced the inclusion. We make sure that no one is left behind in our connectivity, in our technology. No one, meaning also the migrant, everyone also in the remote area. With this, we will make sure that everyone is included and we are tackling the problem of tomorrow, acting as of today. Thank you very much and have a good day.
All right, so let's appreciate Solange Caruera one more time. She's also, as she says, a migrant. She joined Safaricom from Vodafone Luxembourg, where she was the head of the supply chain department. I would like to welcome our next speaker, and that will be Augustus Mogoi from Skyward Express. Let's give him a warm round of applause as he comes to join us on stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Augustus Mugoi. I'm here on behalf of the chairman, Skyward Express, Captain Mohammed Abdi. Wow, Madam Sharon, I didn't know I'm a migrant in Nairobi. You've, all of us, the demonstration that you've given us, it is quite true that no one is born in one place, die in one place. I read the speech by our captain, Chairman Captain Mohammed Abdi. Of course, I will read in absentia of Your Excellency, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs, PS State Department of Immigration and Citizen Service Ambassador Honorable Bitok, Vice Chancellors, University of Nairobi, Ms. Sharon Dimash, Chief of Mission, IOM Kenya, Chief Executive Officers, the Safaricom, Equity, and Kenya Airways, Dr. Stephen Jackson, the United Nations Resident Coordinator, of course, Director CNBC, Terian Jebet, all representatives from academia, private sector, UN agencies, all development partners, civil societies of Kenya, students, media, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. On this auspicious occasion, we stand at the crossroads of time, marking the celebrations of the International Migrants' Day and commemorating a significant milestone in the journey of Skyward Express collaborating with the IOM. As we saw on the wings of progress, it is both an honor and a privilege to address you today. The birth of connections, dreams, and a bridge spanning across continents sums up the essence of this moment. Skyward Express, a beacon of excellence in domestic passenger services, operates with a solemn commitment to providing safe, convenient, and reliable air travel experience to all our clients. As you remember, the aviation sector resilience in the face of challenges, whether the storm of COVID-19 pandemic, that was a defining moment that tested the mettle of organizations. Of course, Skyward Express not only rose above the economic challenges, but also expanded the wings, fostering connectivity between countries and contributing to the economic growth of our nations. Besides connecting the passengers within the camps in Kenya, that's Kakuma and Dadaab, of course, as we have been told, we also weave internal migrants. We operate in the Kenyan domestics. We operate in Kitale. We are also in Migori, Kakamega, Lamu. And we continue to extend our connectivity. Moreover, we have also partnered with South African Airways as the Kenyan GSA to enable us to extend our reach internationally, connecting hearts across borders. Skyward Express recognizes the plight of vulnerable individuals in our global community. A key pillar of our mission has been the commitment to humanitarian efforts, particularly in transporting migrants. Migrants represent resilience, courage, and pursuit for better life. They leave their homes, embark on a journey, and seek new beginnings in distant lands. As an airline, we understand the profound impacts migration has on individuals and on the societies worldwide. Over the past 9 years, we have played a crucial role in providing swift and efficient transport for those seeking refuge, touching countless lives. Our wings carry more than passengers. They carry stories of hope, determination, and unity. We bridge continents, cultures, and hearts, fostering an understanding and celebrating diversity in the skies we traverse. And Skyward, of course, has as well partnered with the WFP and the UNHCR to achieve this mission. We acknowledge the challenges migrants face. Of course, there's separations, adaptation, and forging new paths. Our commitment stands unwavering to ensure that our flights nurture the connections that enhance our global community. In times of crisis, our fleet has been on the forefront of facilitating movement of people seeking safety and security. Our collaborations with IOM ensures that our flights not only transport individuals, but also carry essential aid supplies to areas in need. This is a holistic approach that reflects our commitment to making a positive impact on the lives of those who are most vulnerable. Migrations, a fundamental part of human history, tell stories of individuals seeking new opportunities, forging connection, and reuniting with loved ones. Skyward has emerged as a beacon of hope, connecting the diaspora and their families globally. Of course, from the inception of Skyward Express, we pledge to deliver an excellent flight services, but also a meaningful impact on the world around us. As we reflect our 9 years of partnership with the IOM, these celebrations goes beyond a mere milestone. It is an expression of gratitude for the opportunities to contribute positively to our planet and environmental anxiety. Of course, our endeavors to minimize the environmental impact has seen us implement initiatives that reduce the carbon emissions, invest in sustainable aviation fuels, and enhance fuel efficiency. We acknowledge our responsibility to safeguard the environment for the future generations and actively engage in efforts to do so. May the wings of Skyward Express continue to carry aspirations for the diaspora, connecting families and cultures and contributing to the world where migration is celebrated as a testament to the shared human experience. Beyond our business goals, we have actively engaged on corporate social responsibility projects, both in Kenya, focusing on education and empowering through sports and supporting various communities internally. That's in Kenya. Of course, education, the profound of progress, has been a focal point for us. Initiatives to enhance education opportunities that aim to empower young minds to shape brighter future. Youth empowerment through sports, passion projects is a passion project for Skyward Express. This, of course, instills discipline, teamwork, and resiliency and responsible citizens. As we celebrate this day, let us celebrate the positive challenges we have been able to bring about. However, let this be the moment, let this not be the moment of complacency, but rather the stone towards even more impactful future. Together as united force, we can continue explore innovative ways to contribute to our planet, protect the environment, and lend a helping hand to those who need it most. We also appreciate, as we celebrate International Migrants Day, let us extend our heartfelt gratitude to we extend our gratitude to the entire IOM team, who have worked tirelessly to ensure one of the most vulnerable brothers and sisters are processed for the air transport. Your commitment has not just been for the airline, but to the stories on every beneficiary who has embarked on a journey with the hopes in their hearts. In conclusion, I want to express also our profound gratitude to our major partners, IOM, who have and continue to support us in this remarkable journey. Your trust and the collaborations have been instrumental in making our vision a reality. On this day, we reaffirm our dedications in providing a safe, welcoming, and inclusive travel experience. We extend our hand in solidarity, recognizing the invaluable contribution of migrants to our world history. Let us move forward with the same dedication and enthusiasm, knowing that each flight we operate, not just a journey, but contribute to a better world. Together, through the skies we soar, we create a future where borders unite rather than divide, where journeys empower rather than hinder, and where differences becomes our strengths. Thank you, Captain Mohammed Abdi, Chairman, Skyward Express.
All right, thank you so much, Augustus. Let's appreciate him for speaking with us this morning, sharing the remarks from the chairman of Skyward. You know, I'm a migrant from Kitale, so I'm very excited that finally we do have a Skyward Express to that side. All right, so I'd like to now welcome our next speaker this afternoon, and that is Dr. Stephen Jackson, United Nations Resident Coordinator, UNRC. As we heard earlier, he's also a labor migrant. And I just want to share briefly that he has close to 30 years of experience in international development, peace building, and humanitarian affairs, including more than 10 years in sub-Saharan Africa. He was most recently served as resident coordinator in Gabon, after holding leadership positions at the Department of Political Affairs and the UN Peacekeeping. He has served as Chief of Staff of the UN Office in Burundi. With peacekeeping, he served as a senior political advisor with the UN Organization mission in the DRC. I see Angola, Rwanda, Somalia, Princeton University in the USA, and he is from the Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland. Let's give him a warm round of applause as he comes to speak with us.
Hello, friends. I think that rather long, kind, maybe over-generous introduction just nails the case that I am a migrant. I remain a migrant. I've always been a migrant. Another way of putting it, when confronted with that biography that lists so many things I've done, I always think that my mother would simply say, yeah, you could never stick at one thing, could you? Excellencies, friends, it's really a pleasure to be with you on this august day. Like my sister Dimanche, I was transported back. It'll probably come as a surprise to nobody that I was a university debater myself. And so I came in as the debate was continuing, and I was immediately back in it, into the cut and thrust and the fun of that. And I can tell you what a preparation for life debate is. It's a very, very fundamental skill. It was a privilege to hear your brother and sisters, the young debaters, engaging on a topic of such importance. So that was one thing I was going to say. And then the second thing, yeah, joking aside, I always like to start my remarks anytime that my brothers and sisters from IOM are kind enough to invite me by simply saying, I am a migrant, I am a labour migrant. And I think that that's hugely important. We heard already, hugely important to state that up front, because we heard already that there are more than 200 million migrants in the world. Actually, whenever I hear that number, that sounds small to me. Actually, I rather wonder if that's an underestimate. Because why? Because, well, so I'm a migrant now, I'm a labour migrant now, but I have always been. The Ireland in which I grew up was not unlike the Kenya of today, with a development trajectory really coming, but with massive levels of unemployment for young people. There were no jobs when I graduated from Trinity College Dublin, none at all. Of my graduating class, or at least of my close friends in that graduating class, I think, let's say out of 100 people, 99 of us left. Some of us went to London, some of us went to Munich, some of us went to Rome, to Berlin, Paris. We were lucky. We were members of the European Union, so we had places to go. Some people went to the US, some people went to Australia, but we all went elsewhere to get jobs. Of course, the joke is that the one guy that remained behind is now the wealthiest. He's a multimillionaire. More fool us. But I was a labour migrant. I was somebody, and I was an economic migrant. I was somebody who was forced to migrate for economic opportunity. And I do think it's really important to register that, because let's face it, I don't really look like the cliche of the economic migrant. And I want to return to that theme a little bit later as I close with a call to all of you in this room for your leadership. And that call will be related to this idea of thinking tomorrow, but acting today, which I think is a clarion call to stand up for migrants and for migration as a positive force in the world. We want to use today and every day to put the spotlight on the incredible contribution that migrants and that migration makes. That migrants are not just individuals in transit, they are vibrant agents of change. They weave their personal stories, their energies, their expertise, their engagement into the fabric of the societies in which they arrive, but they also retain that connection, that rootedness with the societies that they have left. They're a bridge. They are the living embodiment of the multicultural, the globalized, the dynamic world that we wish to see. Let me just pause right there and welcome Madame P.S., who's just arrived with us. Lovely to see you. How are you? Yeah. Migrants are drivers of development, friends. We can see this in multiple ways. They help alleviate poverty. They help stimulate economic growth. We've already heard about the role of remittances. Probably somewhere around 4% of Kenya's GDP. And indeed, thank you Safaricom and the many others who help enable that contribution to flow back to Kenya. 4% of GDP coming from the diaspora in terms of remittances. That's an extraordinary, extraordinary contribution. And not unique to Kenya. All through my childhood in an Ireland that was still struggling to develop, we relied on the remittances of family and friends working in the UK, working in the US, working in Germany, working in Australia. I remember it very, very well. Migrants catalyze investment, trade, and knowledge exchange. Diaspora engagement, not just around remittances, but about remitting knowledge, remitting experience, remitting expertise, igniting the flames of innovation and diversity, enriching our collective human experience, bolstering security and peace building. Migrants are living bridges. They are living avenues through which there can be multicultural understanding. And yes, migration helps equip us better to adapt to climate change and to environmental calamities. In all ways, migration is a driver for development and a driver for resilience. If we're going to maximize that potential, then we need partnership, the power of collaboration. No one entity, government, international organization like the United Nations, civil society, private sector, nobody can do it on their own. We need a full spectrum approach so that we maximize the positive potential of migration. That allows me to take a moment really to congratulate and thank Kenya government, and through you, Madam PS, because friends, I don't know how aware you are in this room that your government is actually a leader on helping engender that kind of positive approach to migration. Kenya's a model. Yeah. Kenya's government has been a leader in the region and on the continent and at the global level in helping us think in ways that are positive and that help us arrive at a better framework and a better set of mechanisms for the orderly and secure management, good management of migration so that it is productive. So Kenyan leadership on this, but why Kenyan leadership on this? Well, I think in part it's because Kenya is quite unique as being a country that produces migrants, is a transit point for migrants, but also has many migrants, not just me, but many others, coming to Kenya looking for opportunities. So these very complicated flows of migration that come through Kenya and the Kenyan territory oblige the Kenyan government to work on really improving that orderly, safe, secure management of migration so it can contribute. And that framework that is based on collaboration. The private sector, just to say a word to Solange and our friends from the private sector, I really enjoyed those interventions that we heard just now. Private sector has a massive role to play. First and foremost, the private sector draws on the energies of migration in this globalized world. Much of the talent, Solange herself, as she said, is a migrant to Kenya. So that means the private sector has an incentive to help foster sustainable, regular pathways that really allow migrants to grow and extend their skills. It means that the private sector has a positive incentive to help governments arrive at an orderly framework for labour migration. That the private sector has an incentive to improve its own corporate responsibility, respecting the human rights of migrant workers, enhancing knowledge and skills transfer in both directions, and promoting the development of technologies that help us better manage migration. So in all of those ways, I think the private sector is a really, really key partner. And on behalf of the United Nations, we're really pledged to working hand in glove with the private sector as we go forward. You'll be delighted to hear, friends, I'm nearly finished. Let me just say a word or two on the theme of thinking tomorrow, but acting today. So that means that we need to be thinking not only about the immediate needs and challenges, but the emerging trends that we see. So what are those trends? Well, first of all, I think we see a world in which migration is on the rise and is only going to get bigger. That is both because of positive factors in the global economy, where labour needs to move to where labour needs to move, but also because of what we call the polycrisis, that really unfortunate conjunction that we're living in right now globally between the climate emergency, pandemics like COVID, renewed conflict in the Horn of Africa, in Ukraine, now in Gaza, and also the cost of living, those economic factors that are driving migrants to be on the move. So we're going to see more migration. But, and this is where I come to my big ask of all of you as young leaders, just as we see migration on the increase, we also see anti-migration on the increase. All around the world, and I think particularly in my home continent, in Western Europe, we are starting to see the strengthening of an anti-immigrant discourse. We are starting to see the return of forms of extremism that we haven't seen in a very long time in Europe. We're starting to see a nativism, that's an ugly word, but I'll use it. We're starting to see the rise of a reactionary right that feeds off antipathy, ill-informed antipathy towards migration in order to fuel its political campaigns. In my home country, Ireland, we had riots just about 3 weeks ago. Central Dublin, buses and trains set on fire by a bunch of hooligans protesting violently against what they saw as uncontrolled migration. We need your voices, friends, strongly out there, shouting those people down and pointing out that migration has always been a positive factor in this world, is a positive factor in this world today, and will remain essential to the growth of our countries and to the harmony of our planet. And if we don't have young voices joining loudly that fight, then extremism, I'm rather afraid, will win. So I count on you to bring your voices to that fight globally, to stand up for migrants, to stand up for migration, and in that cut and thrust of debate that we heard earlier, to be making those fact-based points about why migration matters. And that, to close, is why I always start my remarks by saying, I'm a labour migrant, I'm an economic migrant. It's not because I wish to say that somehow I am better than those poor souls who, driven by hardship and suffering, risk their lives trying to cross the Mediterranean in those overcrowded and rickety boats. I'm not better than that. But I think it's important that we understand migration as more than that migration is a massive contemporary and future benefit to the world, and it's never been anything other than that. And that's why we get together on this Migrants' Day, and that's why we say think today, act today, and think tomorrow and act today. You'd think I would get that right by now. So thank you very, very much for your attention. Stand up for migrants, stand up for migration. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jackson. Your debating skills are clearly still quite good. Let's appreciate him one more time. And I just had a look at the Twitter poll. Technical University of Kenya is still leading at 53%, and Queer is closely following behind at 47%. In a moment, we will be hearing from our judges who they have decided will win today's debate. I would like to now call our next speaker this afternoon, Dr. Danopon, Director, State Department of Immigration and Citizen Service, who is representing the PS, and he will also be calling our chief guest this afternoon. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Ms. Roslyn Njogu, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Diaspora Affairs, representing the Chief Cabinet Secretary. Professor Julius Agengu, the DVC Academic Affairs, representing the Vice Chancellor, University of Nairobi. Our Chief of Mission, IOM Kenya Country Office, Ms. Sharon Dimash. The UN Resident Coordinator, Dr. Stephen Jackson. The representative from various government agencies and the civil society, the CEO of Kenya Airways, who just left, the CEO Skyward, my brother, student representatives, distinguished delegates, good morning. Good afternoon. I want to bring the goodwill and apologies of the Principal Secretary, State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services, Professor Ambassador Julius Bitok, who was really prepared to be with us here today, but due to impromptu exigencies of duty, he was unable to be with us. So I'm here on behalf of the Principal Secretary. I am very delighted to be back here in this university. I'm an alumnus of this university. I think I think my 3 degrees are from this university. Only the 4th one is outside this university. So I'm very nostalgic about my coming back on this stage. I'm also a migrant. My first journey from the village where I was born was to come as a student to the University of Nairobi, where I joined the Department of Political Science and Public Administration. And I finished many years ago. Migration, as has been alluded by the speakers who have been here, has more positive than negatives. We have seen that it leads to cultural riches, it leads to innovation, and if you look at the work of many scholars on migration, particularly the Afrocentric literature, particularly Professor Aderanti Adepoju, who has widely published on migration in Africa and elsewhere, they say that people move essentially to improve their economic well-being. Even as you move away from climate-induced disasters, among other disasters, you are seeking your personal human security. You go out for studies to improve your education for your economic well-being. So economic well-being is at the root of migration. Very few people move for sinister motives. Majority of migrants move for very positive motives. So we should look at migration from a positive theoretical lens. Those of you, young scholars, particularly those in the field of international relations theory or international political economy, there is the international political economy of migration. And so different theoretical perspectives define migration. The realists are the most negative, that they see migrants as a threat to national security. And that is what defines the anti-immigrant sentiments my dear brother Dr. Jackson alluded to in the West. The global North is afraid of migration. And they look at migration through the mercantilist or the realist political lens. Others also look at migration through structuralist lens. Majority think that migration is full of exploitation, and they look at exploitation of the periphery by the West, particularly when skilled workers from developing countries troop to the developed countries to offer their skills there, particularly doctors, nurses, who have been educated as the meager government and family resources move to go and seek better opportunities abroad. They look at that as part of exploitation. But I want to encourage people to look at migration through a liberal lens, where you see migration as contributing to the promotion of human rights, to improving economic well-being of migrants, as remittances actually has been talked about and has actually contributed a lot to mitigating structural problems in many developing countries. I will not talk so much off the cuff because I'm representing my peers and I don't want to deviate from his script. Allow me, therefore, to read the remarks of the Principal Secretary for State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services. And I read, I'm pleased to be part of this event that is marking the International Migrants Day with a focus on engaging the youth for better tomorrow. Let me congratulate each and every one of you and all Kenyan migrants on the celebration of this day. This is the day that allows us to celebrate the great contribution of migrants towards sustainable development. Let me thank the IOM, Kenya Country Office, that worked tirelessly in organizing this very important event that recognizes the effort and contribution of all of you who have come to this event. More of our people are increasingly becoming migrants with unemployment, low salaries, and lack of opportunities as some of the main push factors for migration. As a result, Kenya has more than 3 million of its citizens living abroad, most of whom are youth who have taken the step in search of better livelihoods and better opportunities for themselves and their families. So if we all work together to create decent work opportunities, we can not only retain our talents, but also tap into the human capital that we have in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, the contribution of our migrants to our economic growth and development cannot be overemphasized. Our economy in the last couple of years has heavily been boosted by diaspora remittances. Remittances today are the single biggest source of forex inflows into Kenya, standing at 4.3 billion US dollars, overtaking earning from tourism, tea, horticulture. This has helped in checking the levels of poverty for our communities, increased opportunities for our children's education, provision of essential services, reconstruction of homes, the generally improved standards of living of families. This challenges us to find ways to strengthen our mechanism to support migrant rights and ensure that their safety throughout the migration cycle are clearly made a priority. We all know that it is not only about the money that migrants send to their families in form of remittances that count. Migrants bring home new skills, knowledge, and experience back home, things that you cannot attach a price tag to. If all of us could join hands in providing our returning migrants, brothers and sisters, with rehabilitation and reintegration support, with opportunities to apply their skills and knowledge for the socioeconomic development of our countries, we would all benefit from migration. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyan diaspora is certainly another significant contributor to the country's development and has potential to bring innovation and resources. They support host countries abroad, as well as the vulnerable family members back at home. So the challenge for us, again, is a stronger investment in business-friendly environment that will attract the diaspora resources to our socioeconomic investment and development, health, and climate adaptation. Our government has made serious progress this year on its migration policy. The implementation plan of the Global Compact on Migration 2023-2027 was adopted a couple of months ago. This is a guiding document that demonstrates the government's commitment to the implementation of the Global Compact on Migration to create safe migration environment. We wish to thank IOM Country Office and the UN Network on Migration for their support in this cause. As I conclude, I would like to state that migration is the manifestation of human mobility. From time immemorial, humans continue to move. Looking at the history of our society and the various ethnic groups, it is a clear reflection of the importance of power of human mobility. So the government of Kenya believes in migrants, diaspora, and their families as a profound resources for national development. And that is why the government, in its first executive order, created the State Department for Diaspora Affairs under the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. The State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services, through its core directorate, is aggressively implementing the Global Compact for Migration that is hinged on SDG 10.7 that calls for safe, orderly, and regular migration through well-managed policies. I wish to reiterate my department's commitment to facilitating safe, orderly, and regular migration through our policies, systems, and services. I encourage the youth to take charge of their destinies and engage productively at the local, regional, and international markets, as they are the hope for this nation and the world. Finally, let us congratulate each other on the International Migrants Day. Let us honor them, and let us acknowledge their commitments to our society. They may be unsung, but we know they are visible in our lives. Today and every day, the government of Kenya commits to safeguarding our common humanity and secure the rights and dignity of all as we expand and diversify right-based pathways to migration. On the theme, Think Tomorrow, Act Today, I want to advise the young academics to invest in skills that will place them at a competitive edge in the global labor market. Start it now as you do your undergraduate, so that wherever you go, your skills will be recognized. With this many remarks, thank you very much. I'm sorry I've been taken back to perform the final role. And the final is a very dignified role to invite the chief guest, Ms. Rosalyn Jogu, PS, State Department for Diaspora Affairs, who is representing the Chief Cabinet Secretary. Welcome, Madam PS.
Wow, thank you so much for that, my brother. And oh yeah, he's right. The lights here, I can't quite see anything except my notes and the the backbenchers. I was going to recognize my dear brother, Ambassador Julius Bitok, PS for Immigration and Citizen Services, of course, today represented by the speaker who just spoke, Dr. Stephen Jackson, UN Resident Coordinator, and my friend, my sister and my friend, Miss Dimanche Sharon Dimanche, Chief of Mission, IOM Kenya. I know that Professor Kiama is today represented by the DVC academic, and I want to say representatives from academia, private sector, development partners, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades. Good afternoon, Nahamjamboni. Good afternoon, Nahamjamboni. Let me try it differently. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Very good. I'm honored to be here today at the University of Nairobi, my alma mater, where I am a once and current comrade. I studied law here at the University of Nairobi, and I am currently a PhD candidate here at the university. I therefore need to be very careful because my DVC is here and my chances of graduation can go up in flames if I am not well-mannered. I also bring you greetings from His Excellency Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, who could not be here but has asked me to come and speak on his behalf. I am pleased, therefore, to grace this event, this wonderful International Migrants Day, where we are looking at Think of Tomorrow and Act Today, and we're engaging the youth for a better tomorrow. This is not only timely, but I think coincidentally resonates with the government of Kenya's objective to empower the youth through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. In addition, this event comes at a day when Kenya has commenced the hosting of the Africa Youth Connect Summit that is currently ongoing, which is a Pan-African platform that targets to empower young people through enhancing their knowledge, experiences, and skills, while at the same time investing and supporting their ideas, innovations, and initiatives. And I hope all of you here, comrades, have signed up for that event and are going to be in attendance. Before I get a little deeper into my comments, let me just thank you, first of all, for hosting this here at this iconic and amazing university. It is important that conversations like this are had not just between practitioners and others, but necessarily that we engage the academy in this conversation so that we are merging and bringing together the ivory tower and the street for a useful co-learning experience. I was also going to say a lot about the work that the State Department for Diaspora Affairs does, but I realized I might have done a very good job in the 1 year that I have been doing it, because everybody spoke about the things that I intended to speak about. There was work around government's view in terms of liberalism as far as migration is concerned. There were conversations around the generations of migration, particularly from Ireland, and the many things that we are learning from the Irish migrants over the many, many years. And there have been other conversations. So it is clear that the work of mainstreaming the diaspora in the process of national development is ongoing, and I'm grateful and I'm very happy to note this. So I want to appreciate the IOM for the invitation to speak at this important forum and to listen to the first-hand experiences and realities of migration. And as I said, I want to commend you for involving in a very unique way universities and the youth. Usually these kinds of conversations happen in a conference room, in a hotel somewhere, where we sometimes speak to each other. So I really appreciate the debate that has gone on these pertinent issues surrounding migration. I think it's an ingenious idea, inclusive, and we should do it more. But I'm not surprised that the IOM did this, because the IOM has been an invaluable partner for our ministry, very engaging, very forthright, and determined to assist, to facilitate, and to make the lives of the Kenyan diaspora, our constituents, much, much better. They have been involved in promoting a rights-based approach to safe migration of Kenyans, particularly as they take up their spaces around the world in the global labor market. Notably, the collaboration between the IOM and the State Department for Diaspora Affairs has been of tremendous assistance, especially as we work to manage the migration and to support our diaspora in various places, and to put in place systems and learning around the labor migration space. And this has positively impacted our response to the needs of migrants, potential migrants, and returnees. For instance, through this partnership, we're able to evacuate Kenyans in distress in their host countries around the globe. I have in mind places like the Sudan, Ukraine, Lebanon, Afghanistan, just to mention a few, where the IOM has worked with us to do this. I remember fondly, Dimanche, some of the work that the IOM did on the Sudan-Ethiopian border as we evacuated Kenyans from Sudan, and the IOM was at hand to particularly help Kenyans to cross safely and facilitate us until we were able to send Kenya Airways, and I'm sorry to hear the CEO has already left, to bring Kenyans home. It is because of work like this that has allowed us to be and to lead really evacuation efforts where the conflicts, new and renewed conflicts, as was observed, has been done, has happened, and we've been able to rely on that support. Further, the capacity building programs supported by the IOM have equipped key stakeholders involved in migration with skills to be effective while handling migrants. And therefore, as we commemorate this International Migrants Day, it's important to underscore that we all play a critical role in making the migrant space in the labor market particularly safe for our people around the world. And as we speak about some of the things that we've seen, some of the trends that we have seen and have had to engage as government and other actors have been issues around, first of all, migration has been on an increase. We have seen more and more people moving in the last few years than we have seen in previous periods. We've also seen a feminization of migration. Increasingly, we have seen more and more women moving, and particularly as labor and economic migrants, than we have seen before. But also we have seen an increased number of youth moving, now more than before, and observing these trends and creating structures to be able to handle this is the work that we've been involved in. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the State Department for Diaspora Affairs was established in December of 2022 with the objective of engaging the diaspora in a more constructive and productive manner to unlock and unleash their full potential, but also to structure government's response and support to the diaspora. And this has been said by our our sister department, Immigration and Citizen Services, who we work very closely with. So the State Department marked its first anniversary some 48 hours ago. There were balloons, there was cake, there was fanfare in the office. And as we look back on these engagements with the diaspora and with our engagement with the host governments, we feel proud to have set up systems and structures that will help government to protect the welfare and rights of the diaspora and of migrant workers. And it's important for me to say these things because I stand in a room full of students who at some point will probably leave home and go and pursue a graduate degree or work at some point away from home. And then it is our responsibility to ensure that while you are away pursuing those opportunities and becoming who you can be, that we have set up systems to protect your welfare and rights. This Farm Foundation for the Protection of Rights and Welfare has been through the initiation and the implementation of policy, of laws, of processes, of structures, of services, and undertaking deliberate programs that then empower our diaspora and make them flourish. The diaspora or our migrants are our people, they are our family, and as government, we have a responsibility to protect them. Now, distinguished guests, the youth are our future. Actually, scratch that. The youth are our present and our future. As a country, we have an ever-increasing youthful population. You might already know this, but the median age in Kenya is 19. I should have also mentioned that I have spent a lot of time teaching at the university, and at any point we might have a pop quiz. So please, pay attention. Is 19. In other countries, particularly in Western Europe, we are looking at numbers between 44 to 49 years as the median age. Which means if I walk outside, here in Kenya, I am more likely to walk into somebody who looks like, now I can't see very well, the comrades, right? So the 19-year-olds, as opposed to if I am walking outside somewhere in Europe where I'm likely to meet somebody who looks a little bit older. A little more like Dr. Jackson. And that is a wonderful thing. A youth bulge is a wonderful thing. We have what the world wants, craves, needs. We have a youthful talent that is well-educated, highly skilled, innovative, full of energy, sometimes unemployed or underemployed. And we are aware that our economy has not been able to absorb all of this fantastic talent, which is why His Excellency President Dr. William Ruto has given very clear instructions around labor mobility. In other words, we need to find jobs for Kenyans wherever those jobs can be found. As a result, we've developed the global labor market strategy that targets to increase the number of Kenyans joining placement positions in the international labor market. This means then that we expect to see an increase of migration outward migration over the next few years. This migration, however, must be safe, it must be orderly, it must be regular, it must be profitable for the Kenyans who choose to migrate. On our part, the global labor market strategy, as I mentioned, on our part as government, and we think government's role in this global labor migration strategy or in the global labor migration space is 4 things. Is policy, is regulation, facilitation, and protection. And that is what the government of Kenya across various ministries, departments, and agencies is doing. On our part, as the State Department for Diaspora Affairs, we are here to champion and protect the rights and welfare of these migrants and to facilitate the placement of Kenya's amazing talent in these opportunities abroad. This explains why we now have formed, in the last executive order last month, a diaspora placement agency, which agency is tasked with finding Kenyans job opportunities abroad and helping link that talent that is here with opportunities where they are to be found. Over the year, we have done a number of things to protect the rights and welfare of Kenyans abroad. We have mounted mobile consular services where we have served over 9,000 Kenyans in about 20 countries without counting the services that happen in our embassies and consulates. We have created documentation and regulations. We now have a labor migration management bill that we have worked on together with the Ministry of Labor. I have talked about the consular services that have been mounted together with the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services. We've been able to evacuate Kenyans who have been stranded due to conflict. And ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce that when we mounted the evacuation out of Sudan, apart from Egypt that shares a border with Sudan, Kenya was the first country to get its citizens home. So, yes, that is something I think we all ought to be proud about. So this structured intervention towards our diaspora is what the State Department for Diaspora Affairs exists to do. To the students who participated in this competition, I hope you've learned valuable lessons and picked information that you can share with your comrades on safe migration. I know that we have learned a lot from you. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you and to commit, really to restate the commitment of the State Department for Diaspora Affairs and of the government of Kenya to continue to work tirelessly with stakeholders to ensure a healthy and empowered Kenyan diaspora around the globe, because it is our God-given duty to protect, engage, empower, and prosper every Kenyan that is outside of our borders. With these few remarks, allow me, one, to invite you to the Diaspora Investment Conference that is ongoing next week from the 13th to the 15th here in Nairobi at the KICC, and to thank you for availing yourselves this wonderful forum and for inviting me to speak with you, and to say I look forward to more collaboration in the future as we chart out a course towards a prosperous and sustainable shared future. Thank you.
All right, let's appreciate our PS once more. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. So the time we have been waiting for is finally here. I hope the judges are ready. What's Twitter saying on the poll on that side? Who's taking lead? Technical University of Kenya, 53%, and Queer, 47%. But we don't know yet what the judges have said. So before we invite the judges, we want to award the university that came third in our debate today, and that is Strathmore University. Let's give them a warm round of applause. I'd like to invite the representatives from Strathmore, the debaters from Strathmore. Please come and join us, and Augustus from Skyward, Karibu Sana on stage to award this certificate. Strathmore, are you here? Please. So you just come to the front where the cameras go. This one? Yes. So you give them that and this medal for the three debaters and the lecturer. Or do I hold this for you first? Go to the other side. All right, let's congratulate the Strathmore team for a job well done. Congratulations. And they also get some medals for the students as well as the lecturer who prepared them for this debate. So congratulations to the Strathmore team. All right, you may take your seats. Congratulations once again to Strathmore University for coming third. As I invite the judges to go through the first and second, and of course announcing the winners, I'd like to invite our guests, our chief guests, to make their way on stage. Madam PS, please make your way on stage. I'd like to invite Dr. Jackson, representatives from Safaricom, Augustus Mogoy as well from Skyward. Ms. Dimash, please come and join us on stage. And Dr. Dan Opon, please come and join us on stage so we can celebrate together our winners for this afternoon. Our judges, please come and tell us who takes the day.
All right, thank you so much, the universities, the students as well. My name is Billy Omondi from the Debate Circle, and I stand here representing a number of judges who took us through many different rounds of debate till the final, and just a round of applause for all the judges who helped us through all of them. Right, so I have the results here. I know this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Yes, and I'll take advantage to just say one thing before I announce the results, that thank you so much to IAM, the government as well here, Skyward and KQ, because debate is the fastest growing art that young people are using to dispense information and build conversations as well. And anytime you come across, these small proposals from universities, organizations, fostering debate, kindly take it up because it's building the youth in very many, many ways. So thank you so much for recognizing this. So I'll jump straight on to the final debate, and I'll give two elements, both the quantitative and qualitative results for this. Then we announce who is carrying the day. So our motion today was a very important one. Migration is the #1 pathway for innovative and creative solutions to climate change. And it's a coincidence that it's coming, in the same week we are having our COP28. We are talking about relevant things around climate change. So our proposers, the Technical University of Kenya, our opposers, the Catholic University of East Africa. So right through the proposals, I think you gave us amazing points in terms of the displacements worldwide that take place due to climate change. Give us examples of how farmers in Bangladesh, are acclimatizing to some of these things, and partially them being migrant communities in the Arctic as well. Those are very good examples that we find. And ideally, the burden of proof for you was to prove the shared value around migration in the world that is helping us mitigate climate change. So those are very amazing points: inclusion of SDGs, some of the policy frameworks, and solar innovation. You gave us good examples around Tesla, Basigo in Kenya, and how migration has played a role to this. So it was a very well-balanced team. Onto our opposers, the Catholic University. I think, again, this debate was a very well-balanced. In fact, the judges told me to make sure that I say that before the online poll, we were working with a deficit of 0.4. So you can tell how close that was. And you gave us really amazing points as well in terms of if migration is not the solution, then what is, particularly the third speaker. And you gave us technological innovation, community initiatives with good examples as well. And with that, you can tell this debate was fairly balanced. And to the team that is going to win, all the best. So I'd also like to know which team won. And at this point, the winners of today's debate goes to, do you want to know? And the winners for today's debates are the Technical University of Kenya. A round of applause for this amazing team. Kindly make your way to the stage to be awarded. The debaters, make your way to the stage for the awarding of the winning team. Let's clap for them. Let's clap for them as they come on stage.
All right, I'd like to call upon our peers to award our winners for this afternoon. Get the certificate first. Congratulations.
Let's clap for them once more time.
All right, and I'd like to call our Chief of Mission at IOM, who'll tell us a little bit about this key. And I know she did mention it briefly in her speech, what the winners of our debate will take today. And so please tell us a little bit about the key.
Again, a big, big congratulations to our winning team. Well done, our young people. As I said, we are all winners. Yeah? If we came up here, participated in this debate, from the first group, second, third, finalists, we are all winners. And that's why we are actually acknowledging all of us. But to this very special team, I think we want to further acknowledge. And we have a very special key here. We talked about migration. We talked about really very, very interesting ideas. But we acknowledge that we need youth to contribute more in a more sustainable way, not just a one-off event like on the International Migrants Day, or just the Youth Connect Summit that we are having, but rather even come into IOM, get to experience what we do, even share with us some of those ideas. So don't just get stuck into the old way of doing things. So this key is intended to tap into those innovative ideas, bring them into IOM, then we can share for 9 months. So we have here some of your internship. For those that, I believe everyone is 18 years old. Otherwise, ILO, they'll be suing us for child labor. So if you're below 18, you have to wait until you make 18, then you come for your internship. As soon as, you finish your university, I believe when you graduate, you're at least 18 years, yeah? Maybe 18, 19. So anytime, welcome to IOM, and this key is intended to open those excellent ideas that you're bringing in so that we change the way we do things. So thank you. So here we have some letters of internship. Otherwise, I'm a lawyer by profession. I love evidence. So I speak and then end it here. But then you have these letters. At some point when you're done, you'll come to IOM and show them this, that yes, I have an internship. So please welcome to IOM.
All right, congratulations to the Technical University of Kenya. Let's give him another warm round of applause for a job really well done. Asanteni, you may take your seats. I'd like to now welcome Dr. Stephen Jackson, United Nations Resident Coordinator, to award the second, and I'd also like to welcome Bernard Oganga from Kenya Airways, who's here representing the CEO. Let's welcome Dr. Jackson to award the second team. KQ, please make your way to the stage.
It's tough to be second. There's no getting away from that. But from what I heard, both from the judges and from the segment of the debate that I heard, it was very, very close. And I have to say, if it's any consolation, I think you had the slightly harder side of the motion as well. I think you did excellently. And I think, as has been emphasized, debate as a skill that you take forward into the world, it won't do you wrong. So many, many congratulations. Hongera sana.
All right, judges, please come and join us on stage for a picture as I wait for our cake to celebrate the commemoration of International Migrants Day, which is coming on stage. I know, PS, you had some cake yesterday, just as you said. We have another one coming. So our judges, please come and join us on stage for one picture as our team brings up the cake to mark the commemoration and, of course, the celebration of our day.
Can you do doing a photo for the stakeholders first and then
All right, our debaters, you may take your seats for now. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate Catholic University of East Africa for coming second in our debate today. So I want us to organize our pictures very quickly. So if we can first have... If we can first have Madam P.S., Madame Dimanche, please come forward for a first picture. Just the two of you for now. All right, Dr. Jackson, please join them. Dr. Opon. Just very quickly as we can, so we can move on. All right, our partners and stakeholders, please join in. That's Kenya Airways, Skyward, all the partners, stakeholders, University of Nairobi, Safaricom. All right, yes. The judges can join in, please. All right, I'd like to call all the debaters. Please come and join us for this momentous moment. All the debaters from all the universities that were represented today, Strathmore University, Queer, TUK, USIU, University of Nairobi. Who am I? All right, we're ready to cut the cake in celebration. I'd like to request Madam PS, Dr. Jackson, and Madame Dimanche, please come and join us in front. The winning team for today, please come and join as well. Team 1 and Team 2, as close to the table as possible. And the other students, please come and join us as well, right behind them as we cut the cake. All right, I'd like to request our team from IOM, please come and help us cut the cake further as we begin the distribution. All right, you can feel free to take your seats as the cake is being cut and distributed. We have our teams from IOM who will be helping with the distribution of the cake. Once we have done this, I will call the schools again once on stage for your personal certificates and the certificates of merit. We took a picture of you and the winners. Or we did. You, the PS and the winners. Okay. Where's your cake? No, let the cake quiet. No, I've been given cake. Do I have to return it? No. Now it's the audience. All right, if you haven't already had cake, don't worry. We have so much more that our team is just putting together and will bring towards where you're seated. As that is getting done, we are coming to the end of our commemoration and our celebration today. And I would like to invite to give us a vote of thanks, Professor Dr. Orindi from the University of Nairobi to give us some closing remarks. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you very much, Terian. Our peers, the peers for State Department of Diaspora Affairs, Madam Roslyn Jogu, the Chief of Mission for IOM, distinguished guests, all the delegates, the debaters, participants. Mine is very brief and very simple to move a vote of thanks. It has been a long day, very engaging and very informative. We've learned a lot, I believe, all of us, young people. We have shared ideas and also demonstrated that migration is very important for development through the debate. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody, most sincerely, the IOM for choosing to host this debate here at the University of Nairobi, our venue. It's a very nice venue, and we welcome you to do more and more activities of that kind, especially those ones that require the type of intellectual rigor that was here today. You're always very welcome. UNDP, Safaricom, all the partners, KQ, to come here again to do activities here in this auditorium. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all the sponsors and partners who made this activity possible in one way or the other, through sponsorship, through awards. We want to thank you for highlighting the issues that are pertinent to migration and development, and also ensuring that young people who are actually the future or citizens and future workers understand the intricacies of migration. We want to thank you for the presentations that were here by different organizations. We welcome you again. Thank you so much for the awards and your contribution. I want to take also the opportunity to thank the universities, especially the debaters, where Strathmore, University of Nairobi, of course my university, you were knocked out in the first round, but it's good, it's a good learning. We hope that next time we'll be able to debate well around the issues and compete with the winners. We congratulate the winners, please. Thank you. I want to take the opportunity also to thank the organizing team who put this together, especially the secretariat from IOM and also University of Nairobi. We thank you very much for the wonderful organization that you have put up to ensure this activity succeeds. I want to thank the media who have been relaying this thing, live streaming the event, University of Nairobi, UNC TV, and other media houses that were here to ensure that the audience online and the people outside there also participate in this debate. If I have not, in one way or the other, touched you, mentioned your name, please count that I have thanked you in a way or the other. Please clap for yourself. And with that, it's normally we forget to thank the MCs. Terian, we also want to thank you for the wonderful job that you've done. Keeping us here for more than 5 hours is not an easy job. It must have been a very lively job. Give a clap for Terian. Thank you so much. Welcome again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Orindi. And to now close our event today, I would like to invite our host, Ms. Dimash Sharon, Chief of Mission IOM, to give us her closing remarks. Let's give her a warm round of applause.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. For me, it's really to say thank you. And thanks to all participants today. Our very special guest, the chief guest, Madam Principal Secretary, representing the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi. Thank you really so much for coming. I know it's been a very busy time. You came in all the way, I think, from Nakuru, driving here to Nairobi, so we don't take that for granted. Thanks a lot. And all our dear partners, our RC, Stephen, and our private sector, Skywards, Kenya Airways, Safaricom, and all my fellow colleagues from IOM, from the UN, and of course the very, very special guests, our students. I think really you guys, you deserve, a big round of applause. Thank you so much for coming. When I was in school, I used to fear debating. That was one of my challenges. But I had to definitely take through that challenge on, because I usually try to attack what I fear the most and take it on. So thank you so much for coming in and all the preparation. You are discussing issues of migration as if you're experts, and indeed you are experts. I did share about the internship in IOM, but again, I mentioned briefly on the scholarship. So I would like to highlight the fact that there's a company called The Hug. It's a company founded by Randy Zuckerberg in partnership with Stability AI. They are offering a full scholarship to study AI, generative AI. So please apply. Everybody here in this room, you can apply for that. It's free of charge, courtesy of a partnership with them. So please try to take that opportunity. And of course, to our host, the University of Nairobi, thank you so much, and the team that we've been working closely with. It's not been so easy, and also accepting to adjust, because usually, as you had, IMD is celebrated on 18th of December, but because of your value, of the importance of our students, we had to really move things closer to have that held on today, the 8th, so that every one of you is participating before you go for Christmas break. So thank you so much for coming. We look forward to having similar events probably in the next year, or not just waiting for the International Migrants Day, but maybe we can have some debates. I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, let's have some of those debates. I believe we'll be able to learn from each other, so we can make everything completely different in terms of migration. We'll make it more safe, more regular, more beneficial, because we are looking at how do we leverage migration for development. And finally, I would like to thank the government of Kenya. You guys, you have an amazing government. They've done quite a lot. I know sometimes when I was a student, I used to challenge my government, and you hold them to task, accountable, but they are doing a lot of work out there. So thanks to the leadership of the government of Kenya, trying to create opportunities for you guys out there so that you don't remain unemployed when you finish university. And from our side, as IOM, we are committed to continue working together so that people who want to work, how prepared are they? As students, when you graduate, do you really want to go and work abroad? If you want to, you're ready for it. You know your rights, you have the right skills, you can actually even plan and make sure that you leverage migration for development, send remittances back home. How do you invest? All that is what we are doing closely with your government here. So please keep up the good work, continue working hard as young people. From our side, we would like to support, bring in expertise as far as migration is concerned. I don't want to take much time. I know a lot has been spoken, but really, again, to thank so much the University of Nairobi. I don't think with you allowing us to come here, we would have had this event. Asanteni sana, and my colleagues, they did a fantastic job. So all the IM team, well done, and thanks for the great work.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dimash. Let's give her a warm round of applause for making this event possible. So we have come to the end of our event today. I would like to allow our chief guests, our stakeholders, to please make your way to the VIP room. Students, please wait as they make their way out. I also want to request the debaters to come on stage. We've got your certificates that we'd like to hand to you, but just give a few minutes for our chief guests, our judges as well, to make their way to the VIP room, and our stakeholders.